Today we are beginning with a new chapter, that is chapter 37, Grihastha Dharma, rather Grihastha Dharma. This chapter describes the religious duties incumbent on a Grihastha. Very good morning. Jai Shri Krishna Guru. Thank you for joining Shri Guru Charitra Satsang. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Shri Saraswataya Namaha, Om Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Guru Charitra Satsang. Namaskara Priyaya Suryaya Alankara Priyaha Vishnuhu Abhisheka Priyaha Shivaha. 1 meal a day makes a yogi, 2 meals a day makes a bhogi, and 3 meals a day makes a rogi. This is very beautifully began. It's very beautifully explained. What does this mean? 1 meal a day makes a yogi, 2 meals a day makes a bhogi, and 3 meals a day makes a rogi. See, the yogis eat just 1 meal a day only to sustain this body, and so that they can live a hale and heartily, so that they can evolve on their spiritual path and do whatever that is sadhana that is required of them. 2 meals a day makes a bhogi, one who cannot control his palate. He's hungry, he needs the food. Bhogi means one who is a material worldly being. And 3 meals a day makes a rogi, a sick man, one who cannot give up on food. See, but today's day and age, we need to eat substantially. Like in Krishna Ashram, my Krishna Guruji tells us, we cannot skip any meal. See, he'll tell us, you are in the material world, you are working, your body needs good amount of food. So we have to eat our breakfast and we have to eat a complete lunch, a wholesome food. The lunch has to be a holistic meal. And then you have a beverage in the evening, that's a tea or coffee with some small snack like a biscuit. And then you have to have a dinner. Some amount of food is a must. But my Krishna Guruji only has 1 meal a day because he's a yogi. He's the highest of the yogi. Just now he finished his satsang of Bhagavad Gita. In that today, he explained about who Lord Shri Krishna is. How does a devotee of the divine being live? And one of the most important aspects also which Lord Shri Krishna says, how to eat, how to live in this world, what is the right way to eat. So everything has to be eaten in moderation. And it is all about sattvic food. When you eat sattvic food, your behavior is also as per the sattvic guna, which is filled with goodness, love and everything. If you eat a rajasic food or tamasic food, your behavior is also in a similar manner. So even Lord Buddha has said, it's, what you eat is who you are. So your food habits has to be very good and you have to follow a certain regime. You cannot eat whenever you feel like. You can't eat, at 12 in the night or, midday, anytime. You can't eat like that. There has to be a prescribed timing. If in our Krishna Ashram, our breakfast timing is at 6:40 am, my Guruji will be there ready to start the breakfast at 6:40. That is how we are programmed. And by 12:45, 12:30, 12:45, our lunch has to be served. 1 o'clock is our lunch time, but 12:45 is when we will all be seated at the dining table. My Guruji is, he'll already be there. And then we have our beverage, tea and coffee time around at 5:30 p.m. right after the satsang, when my Guruji finishes. And then he's not going to eat anything after that. But we cannot skip our meals because it is very important. He'll say, you have to work in this world because you cannot sustain, because we are in the Kali Yuga. Our body is not capable of such things. So we have to eat in a moderate, we have to eat good food moderately, and which is going to help us evolve on the path of our spiritual progress. So dinner is a must. You cannot skip dinner. And this is extremely important. So here he's talking about how do you eat. So here the chapter has been kick-started with the subject of how one must eat. The purity of one's mind depends on the purity of food. Oh my God. See, that's exactly what I was explaining. It's the food that you eat. Imagine, why does Lord Shri Krishna is represented, as eating butter, milk, curd, all the milk products, ghee. Those are the highest of the sattvic food, purity. That represents Lord Shri Krishna, the highest, the purest of the being. He's an epitome of perfection. He's an epitome of purity. He's a personification of personification. There is no comparison to his perfection. Please remember this. It is mentioned the purity of one's mind depends on the purity of food he takes. Not only through the mouth, but also through the five senses, namely the eyes, nose, ears, limbs, and the tongue. What does this mean? This is a very important lesson. In India, have you seen those three monkeys? Don't see evil, don't hear evil, and don't speak evil. That is what it means. So you have to do good action. You have to speak good words. In fact, just now my Krishna Guruji finished the Bhagavad Gita satsang. In that he was saying the devotees of the divine Lord Shri Krishna only sing the glories about him. Madhurashtakam, he explained. Who actually has composed Madhurashtakam? Adi Shankaracharya, who's the avatar of Lord Shiva himself. He composed Madhurashtakam, which describes the beauty of every aspect of Lord Shri Krishna. His lips is so sweet, it is so beautiful. His eyes are like lotus flower, the petals of lotus flower. He's wearing this crocodile ears. It's so beautiful. His vachanam, his talk, his speech is so sweet, madhur, sweetness. And his way, how he walks is so beautiful. And his gopi, the leelas with gopi is so madhur. Madhur is sweet. Madhurashtakam, one who enjoys, the enjoyer of everything. He is that Lord Shri Krishna. But please remember, there is no senses involved in anything that he does. That is why he is the epitome of purity. He's a personification of highest of perfection that exists in this entire universe. That is why nobody else can be Lord Shri Krishna except he himself. And most important, when you're devoted to him, you will also become like him. When you attain the oneness with the divine Lord Almighty, which is yoga, union with the divine, then you also become that being yourself. So to attain him, the only path is love and devotion, purity of heart, purity of mind, and surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Guru, who is none other than Lord Shri Krishna himself. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Who is this Jagat Guru? He is the Guru of this entire universe. Every knowledge is within him. Everything is emanating from him. There is nothing outside of him. He is all pervading. He is omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. He lives in your heart. What is this domain? Heart, which translates to love. The only way to attain the divine Lord Almighty is through love and devotion. There is no other path. Every other path it leads to that goal. But to attain Lord Shri Krishna, you have to only come through the path of bhakti. Bhakti is the only thing that he seeks, love and devotion. And he is the enjoyer of all rasas. The sweetness, the essence of everything that exists in this universe. So what does it mean saying? It's not only through the mouth, the food that we take, but also through the five senses, that is namely the eyes. You have to only see good. What does this mean? Namely eyes. See, when we look at an object, it could be a person, it could be something. The moment we see something, our mind comes in. And what does it do? It is trying to judge. It judges by saying that is good or that is bad. Who are we to judge anybody or anything? It is what our mind is tainted with. It is what we are perceiving. It is what we are speaking. It is what we understand. And the moment we see something, we're making judgment about that person, that object, and everything around us. We are constantly judging. And who's judging? The mind is judging. And there is a very beautiful verse in chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Shri Krishna has said, when the senses come in contact with the sense object, then the mind comes in. It is the first of the senses which comes in contact of the sense object. And then the mind is saying, oh, this is right, this is wrong, this is good, this is bad, this is beautiful, this is ugly. That is what the mind does. But what is the spirituality teaching here? That you have to see only the goodness in them. Recently, Devi Amma visited us when Krishna Guruji's birthday was there. There is no birthday, but yes, when the day he manifested on this body, in this planet Earth. So we celebrate March 4th. It's a very auspicious day for us. So, I mean, one who's never born and one who never dies. But yes, as a body, he manifested in that. So we do celebrate him. So we had invited her, and at that time she said something very beautiful. Her Gurudev, which is Agastya Muni, taught her a very powerful lesson. And the lesson, he said, you know what? See only positive in everything. See the upside of it. And he gave her a very beautiful lesson. You know what was the lesson he gave? He said, I am writing your life. It is me who's writing your story. Why are you thinking anything otherwise? The moment she understood this thing, she accepted everything in her world. She was able to, accept what is happening around her. She was not resisting it. She was not fighting it. She could very happily accept. See, these are the process on the path of spirituality. And this morning only my Guruji was teaching in Bhagavad Gita how Lord Shri Krishna makes those events happen. Because the reason why you have to go through that is because you have to become spiritually perfect. So those who are evolving and want to evolve on that journey, on that path, you have to go through. And he said something very profound. His devotees are very contented. They are not going to complain. They will accept everything very happily. They know who's writing their destiny, who's writing what has to be in their life. Every situation, every event, please remember, is only the ordain of the divine Lord Almighty. And also please remember, he is the Karma Pala Data, the dispenser of the fruits of your action. And when he is pleased, he will bestow upon you whatever that which is right for you. He is not going to, one thing you need to understand, he is never going to hold anything back. It is our misconception that we blame God. Oh, you give us suffering, you make us feel so miserable. You know what the teaching he gave my Guruji this morning? He was saying, his Lord Shri Krishna is a very compassionate being. He will dispel the ignorance at the right time. But please remember, he will still assess your spiritual deservability. And based on your spiritual deservability, then only he will bestow that which you are worthy of. Not otherwise. And he is not going to hold anything. Why should the Lord hold anything? You think he's a mean being? No, other deities can hold. If you go to all these small gods, the deities, they will hold on to. They will see, okay, I will give, but you have to become my slave. But Lord Shri Krishna doesn't say anything like that. On the contrary, he only says, I just need your love and devotion. I don't need anything. All knowledge is there in me. What is that you don't want, you can take from me. But before that, you need to become perfect. He's just not going to give you so easily. And remember, 2 chapters earlier, here Gurudev Narsimha Saraswati also mentioned, when any devotee, anybody who comes to the Guru, he understands their innermost desires. He is anyways going to grant them. Even if you don't ask, he knows what he has to bestow upon you. And what do you find? Your grievances will be redressed. But before that, he is going to put you through severe tests to see how much you stand him, how much he means to you in life. See, when something bad happens, we cannot take it. And at that time, we start calling names to our Guru or to the God. Oh, you're doing this bad to me. Why are you putting me through this? Why are you doing this to me? But we cannot even tolerate that. On the contrary, my Krishna Guruji was saying this morning that any devotee who are true devotees of the divine Lord will accept it. They know, they understand it is their Lord who's putting them through. Why? Because they have to become spiritually perfect. To attaining Shri Krishna, you have to go through the purification process. It is not so easy to attain him. That is the truth about life. That is the truth about real spirituality. And only handful of them, you can count on your fingertips. Only that many can know Lord Shri Krishna only through his grace, only when he bestows the grace, that time you can know him, not otherwise. And only the wise know him. That too, the chosen ones, not everybody. Everyone else will talk about Vishnu, Narayan, you call him in any other form, but nobody takes Lord Shri Krishna's name. They think he's he's there somewhere, but we don't know. They think he's much lower than everybody else. The truth they don't understand. They believe in Sai Babas, they believe in Ramakrishna Paramahamsajis. These are all the great saints and sages. But please remember, you can only attain them, but you can't attain the Lord. So to attain Lord Shri Krishna, you have to be his devotee. There is no other way. It's not so easy to attain him. People don't understand what it means to be devoted to Lord Shri Krishna. It's a very beautiful, it's a very beautiful process. That whole aspect of seeking him, pining for him, and going through that madness. He's going to test you. He's going to bend you backwards to see whether you want him or his Maya. See, it's very easy to fall for his Maya. He's going to always give you the choices. What is the choice that you will take? And coming back, you know what my Guruji was saying? His devotees will graciously accept whatever he puts them through. They are contented in life. They don't have desires. They know the Divine Lord will bestow upon them that which is right for them. They are not constantly going and saying, I want this, I want that. Kunti has said this very beautiful chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam about Kunti and the dialogue with Shri Krishna which Kunti has. And in that she says to Lord Shri Krishna, give me more troubles, every life of me, bless me with troubles alone, so that I can remember you constantly. But you know what? That is what you have to do. A true devotee does this. When you are in that pain, you're only going to remember Lord Shri Krishna, not anything else. And to that context, my Krishna Guruji narrated a very beautiful story. In that he says, there was a crow. And this crow was saying Rama, Rama, it was taking the Divine Lord's name. And suddenly something happened. And when that problem came in, somebody caught hold of it, or sorry, I can't remember exactly. So something bad happened. So somebody caught hold of it, or it was going to die or something like that. It was in trouble. So when the trouble came, when the trouble came in its life, it forgot to chant the name of the Lord. Instead, it started saying Ka Ka. So where is Rama? From Rama it became Ka Ka. So it forgot to chant the name of the Lord. So this is what happens. But in the true devotee's life, no matter what befalls on him, he does not leave chanting the name of his Divine Lord Almighty, that is Lord Shri Krishna. He is constantly chanting his name. Even in that pain, he knows there is only one being who is putting me through this so that I can evolve. He understands this truth, and recognizing that, he doesn't get upset with what is happening in his world. That is where you have to evolve. The reason why these events happen, so that you can evolve spiritually. You can become closer to the Divine Lord Almighty. You can merge with him. You can attain that union. But before that, you have to go through that purification process. There are no two ways about that. And please remember, the most important lesson in that situation, the choice, I'll always keep repeating this, the choice is always given to you. Lord Shri Krishna gave this choice to Arjuna and Duryodhana, and he said, what do you want? Do you want me or do you want my army? Arjuna chose Lord Shri Krishna, whereas Duryodhana took his army. This test is always going to come in front of you. It will come in front of you in any form. Are you going to fall for your parents, husband, wife, children, job, or are you going to stand and fight along with Shri Krishna? When you take the side of Lord, the whole world will be against you. But when you go on the Kaurava side, the Lord is not with you. And you know what? In that also, the Lord is very compassionate. People have done this. My Krishna Guruji's devotee has done this. Yet, my Guruji is greatest. You know why? He still is very compassionate. He understands they are ignorant beings. They are petty people. They are petty to the core. They will fail him. Yet he doesn't fail them. This is the greatness of my Guruji and the God Almighty who he is. And can you even stand? Don't even call yourself his devotee, because you don't even have the guts to stand next to him, knowing fully well he will take care. He will sail you through this. Yet they will go and backstab him. This is exactly what a human nature is. So to be his highest devotee, you have to go through the test. And every time when this test comes, he's going to see what are you going to choose, whether Maya or the Lord Almighty. If my Guruji says, you will get the job, you will get married, you will go abroad, it will happen. But not at the time you want it. It will happen at his will, at the perfect timing. But what people do? They will go against him and do exactly what he has asked them not to do. And then what happens? Then they want him to save them. How does this work? A true devotee is not that. He stands and abides by Lord Shri Krishna. This is the truth you need to understand, and chants his name. No calamity will ever befall the devotee of the Lord Almighty. Please remember this. This is the truth you need to understand. And so here it is taught. When you see anything, you have to only see the upside of it. These people, these kind of tests, everything is going to come your way. But we have to only see the goodness. And this is a very difficult lesson. It's not so easy, because the moment you see an object, we are only going to see the downside of them. We can't see the goodness. To rise and to become the devotee of the Lord, we have to see him in everything. The reason why it is important to see God in everything is so that we do not let our mind make the judgment and discriminate between anyone. That is why we have to say good things, see good things, and speak good things alone. So here it says, it's not the purity of food that one takes, not only through the mouth, but also through the five senses, namely your eyes. How you see an object. It has to be only the divine Lord Almighty. Nose, you have to only smell the beautiful things in this world. Then what else? Ears, you have to smell. You have to listen to the divine glories of the Lord and also speak only about him. That is a purification. You're also purifying your senses, your mind, your body, your senses, your innermost being. And then what happens when you're purified, when absolutely purity you attain, that is the time that Lord himself will reveal to you and dispel the darkness which is covered with the ignorance and illumine you. And then you become enlightened being. Then you understand the truth that the Lord within is within me, and the Lord, this entire universe rests within the Lord himself. And that is when you will be able to see God in everybody and in everything. Then you're not going to get affected with what happens around you, because you are in that union. Yoga, you are in that yoga. That is what? Which means oneness with the divine. Then it doesn't bother what happens in this world. You attain that contentment, truth in your life. Then you're not attached to anything in this world. Then you will live like the lotus flower, the lotus leaf, where on which the water is not touched, detached from everything, like Lord Shri Krishna. That is the state you have to attain, but for which you have to go through this purification process. So be careful about the food you eat, how you eat. Discipline is very important. So let us continue now. Shri Narasimha Saraswati was lighting up the minds of people by giving instruction on the disciplines necessary for keeping up the spiritual flame. After soothing their body and mind, he used to start giving spiritual instruction to put them on the Godward path, to help them evolve spiritually so that they would be relieved forever from the afflictions of birth and death. In the previous chapter, Gurunath narrated to the Brahmin couple the Achara Vidhis for the Brahmins. In this chapter, he described to them Deva Puja Vidhi, about the daily worship and its Mahima. And its Mahima means its greatness. Siddhamuni continued his narrative to Namdarak. For Deva Puja means gods. How it is so important to worship the gods in your home every single day. Those who are the devotees of the Divine Lord, you must worship. For the Deva Puja, the shrine room should be kept clean. Rangoli should be done, and the place should be decorated with flowers. The atmosphere should be filled with the fragrance of the incense sticks, sandalwood, or other perfume materials. The place should be specifically congenial and soothing to the mind. When you enter any home, you can feel the vibes. There must be that peace, that love. When you enter Krishna ashram, that's exactly what you'll feel. The attraction of Lord is all around. You'll find that essence. You'll feel calmness. You'll feel soothing. Because the great master himself lives there. And what happens when you come in his presence? This is how you feel, and all the divine beings rest here. So we need to do this worship. It is very important. We have to respect, and please also remember, the highest worship is of your Guru, and My Guruji will not miss to worship the gods and his Gurudev. It is so important to follow this discipline. People sometimes have this very weird idea. They do this worship for the heck of it because we have to do. No, the gods exist. They are all there where the divine master exists. So we need to give them the due respect. And once my Guruji himself has said, light the incense sticks. And I got a very beautiful experience that fragrance has reached him. He just gave me an understanding, not because of anything, to tell me and teach me the truth, why this has to be done every day. Because we don't understand why we are doing, why it is important. And here, Narasimha Saraswati is teaching how this has to be done. And not just that, now my Guruji will teach from Uddhav Gita, what are the devotional service that you must do for Lord Sri Krishna. How should you worship him? What does devotional service mean? And he has also very beautifully explained in Bhagavatam what is devotional service, how do you offer, and in Narad Bhakti Sutra. You can go and refer to it, listen, and please follow that which you can. The play should be specifically congenial and soothing to the mind. It should make an instant appeal to the mind and bring it into devout and worshipful mood. What does it create? You have to get that bhakti. The moment you come to a place, you must feel that bhakti over there, right there. That is the atmosphere we have to create. The atmosphere should be such that the senses get sublimated, mind gets collected and calmed, and the spirit gets uplifted and elevated. Why this is so important? This is exactly what Narasimha Saraswati is teaching. The atmosphere should be such that the senses get sublimated, which means it just sublimated and it is focused. So all the senses should come together on and go and focus on that one object, and that is your divine Guru, your divine Lord Almighty, and then chant his name or meditate or be lost in him. Do whatever that comes to you naturally, and you follow that. Well, even it might be even studying a scripture, but you need to be gather all your senses, mind, body, everything has to be channelized and focused in single pointed devotion. That is what you need to get to, and that atmosphere is extremely important. Mind gets collected and calmed, so it's not running hither thinking about dime a dozen, this one, that happened, this happened, I'm having so many problems, I'm going through all that. It doesn't chatter, so it's calmed. Then you can only think about the divine Lord, and the spirit gets uplifted and elevated. Seated on a clean, comfortable seat, one should take to the puja. The worship has to be done 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. In today's day and age, doing one day itself is a difficulty thing. We think, oh, I have my calls, I get very busy. It happens. Sometimes it happens. And yesterday, whole day got stuck in the call. And that time, oh my God, I didn't do puja today. This happens. But we have to become disciplined. We have to do the puja. You can't miss at least once a day. Worshipping the gods is a must. The worship has to be done 3 times a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. If full and elaborate worship is not possible for want of time or for any other reason, one should at least do the Shodashopachara Puja, worshipping, constituting the 16 types of service in the morning. Panchopachara Puja, that is worship constituting of 5 types of service in the forenoon, and offering of the camphor light, Niranjana, in the evening, and perform the worship this way. Having been born as a Brahmin, if he does not do the worship daily, he will be subject to the netherworld after death. Now comes what is going to happen if you do not do the worship. There are 6 types of puja. Let us understand what each one of them are. Udaka Narayana Puja, that is worshipping God in water. Agni Puja, that is worshipping God in fire. Aditya Puja, worshipping God in sun. Manasika Puja, worshipping God mentally. Pratima Puja, that is worshipping God in the icons. Yajna Puja, that is worshipping God through performance of yajna. The Manasika Puja is the highest form of worship. Idol worship is relatively lower type or form of worship compared to Manasika Puja. But it has also its place in the spiritual journey. Please remember, the Manasika Puja is the highest and the next comes the idol worship. But both this worship, it has also its place in the spiritual journey. You cannot say that I am not going to worship whatever the idols are there. You have to worship them because the divinity exists in them. See, when the Guru is there, my Krishna Guruji lives by example. He gives respect and he reveres his Gurudev, Lord Dattatreya. And we worship like Baba, the sages and the saints, everybody. All these deities serve the divine Lord. So we must worship them. We must give them their due respect. And people have this weird idea. If I worship my Guru, I will not even bow down to the gods. That is not a done thing. You have to worship. And not just that. There are others who think, oh, I don't have to do any worship at all. I just have to, be like that only. My Guruji said, I don't have to worship. No, no, no. Please remember, there is a vidhi here. There is a method. My Krishna Guruji, it's beautiful to watch. He will give everybody their due respect. He will come and bow down there. He will worship them. He will pray to them. Not because he is smaller than anybody. On the contrary, he is the highest of everyone. But it is important to give them the due respect because they are taking care of this entire universe, and the Guru has to be given the highest of the respect because in the Guru rest all the gods, and the Guru is himself the Parabrahma. So, and Lord Shri Krishna is the supreme divine Lord. He's the Krishna Vande Jagat Gurum. So he's the highest of the highest. So we have to worship, revere him, please him, and sing the glories and the praises. You have to constantly sing, take their name. That is a very important thing to follow as a spiritual discipline. That is what is being mentioned here. Manasika Puja means you can offer the worship mentally. That's the highest form of worship. And are you capable? Today your mind doesn't even stay focused even for 5 minutes. So what is the easy method is through idol worship. But in an ashram, we will always have the idols and the Guru. We worship the Guru and the idol, the forms. It is very important. So, but it also has its place in the spiritual journey. Worship of cow and a Brahmin, visualizing them as God, is also an accepted form of puja. The worship of Guru, however, pleases all the Trimurtis. In the Kali Yuga, as men are not capable of cultivating and cherishing such exalted form of adoration towards the Guru and of identifying the Guru with God, God has assumed the forms of Shaligrama stones and of Linga form stones, which are found on the banks and the riverbeds of Narmada and the Gandaki rivers. Worship of the Saligrama or the Linga absolves man from all his sins. What is being said here? It's a very important lesson. He's saying in the age of Kali, that is in Kali Yuga, as men are not capable of cultivating and cherishing such exalted bhakti, a form of adoration towards the Guru. Yeah, this is extremely true. You know what? It is only like my Krishna Guruji says, it's only very few, handful of them can understand and get the bhakti of that highest exalted state to the Guru. Because people look at a Guru, that human body, they think he's some ordinary human being. They don't understand. See, because the real masters appear like that. If you look at Ramana Maharishi, Sai Baba, Ramakrishna Paramahamsaji, nobody believed in them. Even Sai Baba, people thought he's they called him he's a beggar, he's a bhikari. People came and mocked at him. Oh, look at him, he's wearing kafni, torn clothes. Who is this man? They tried to question his religion, whether he's a Hindu or a Muslim. This is the kind the human beings are. Do they understand they are the Parabrahma? They're the God Almighties. The Parabrahma is manifested in that form as saints and sages. But do we have the grace or the eyes to see this divinity in them? No. Why? Because it is our mind. We come with egoistic and arrogant way of looking at life. We think we know too much. So you can't see. So only the chosen ones get the grace of this great divine Guru, the real masters, to recognize them, to know them only like a dot. Nothing more than that, because they want to see how much devoted you are. What are you coming to them for? Are you coming to them with the begging bowl, or are you coming to seek the spiritual wheel? This is what every guru cares about. Baba has mentioned in Sai Sat Charitra, I am waiting to give everything that I have, the spiritual knowledge, the spiritual wealth. But people come with their begging bowl to ask for money, job, children, you name it. My father is sick, my mother is sick. This is what everybody comes and talks about. And yesterday, my Krishna Guruji, we were just having a very interesting conversation. Every time I mention this, it hurts a lot of people. It's not about pointing to one. I have also gone through this. Everybody is going to go through this. 99.9999% of this entire universe of people who are there exist are materialistically motivated. If they come to meet a guru or any divine master, they're only going to come with their begging bowl. I want to get married, I want to do this, I want to do that. It is not about that. See, those people are ignorant. But you know what? Those who are on the path of spirituality, the guru who has initiated them, please remember, the guru has to bear all your karma because he is given that initiation. It doesn't mean that if you're not staying with the guru is affected. Please remember, there are many disciples of my Krishna Guruji's students, or rather the disciples, have left him and gone after the initiation. You know what? One is, they have incurred a greatest of the sins. Number two, even if they go away, still the guru has to suffer for them. They might not know that. They might think, oh, my Guruji has left. No, that is not the truth. This is the truth people don't realize. They think, oh, I will go away if I'm causing the trouble. It is not about going away. It is about not doing further karmas. You need to listen to your Gurudev because he knows your present, past and the future. He knows what is going to come about. So he warns you, don't do certain things. The reason why we must listen is because it will affect him. The guru has to suffer. One misdemeanor of ours, the guru has to take it on himself. And then what? We are not extending his life. We are on the contrary, reducing his lifespan. And his body can only handle so much, and then he has to leave that body and go away. So who is at a loss? We are at a loss. So this truth is not understood by people. They think that somebody goes away, somebody is not there, the guru doesn't have to suffer. It doesn't work like that. The guru will still have to suffer because he has initiated. He is a compassionate being. That is the greatness of this guru, the nature. Whether you are there with him or not, if you are his devotee, he still ensures that he protects you. That is the grace. And what do people think? He is the biggest villain in my life. No, that is the greatness of this Guruji. That is who he is. Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. Why do we say that? He is such a great being. Can you even match? Nobody can match him. Nobody can take his place. Not even me. I'll always tell this to my Guruji. Your place is not coveted by anybody. Nobody want to be you. At least I don't want to be you. It's a very difficult position to be in. It is about being responsible for everybody. Imagine, you have to take everything, the sins of others. My Guruji once asked, everybody says, I want this, I want that. Can you say, give me this? I will suffer for somebody. Will you ever say this? That was a very valid question, what my Guruji asked me. I said, no, I am not capable at this moment in time. That is the truth. Can we suffer for other people? No, but we only want to enjoy. We don't want to suffer. This is the truth. But these great masters, what do? They take on people's pain. That is their greatness. Why are these gurus so great? They suffer for this entire universe. God too takes on everything on himself. He manifests because that is who he is. This is not understood by us. We think we use our petty mind to judge everything. So the world will look at these real masters as some ordinary human being and they are going to judge. And then they can't worship the guru because they're looking at his body. Oh, look how he's behaving. He's worn some torn clothes. They judge by the clothes he wears, the way he lives. No, you can't. That is the real master. But who do they go and believe in? Well, they go and believe in for a glamorous person. Somebody who's wearing some fancy garments. There's a designer garment and he's running a conglomerate. And all these people will go believe that fake person. That is how the world is programmed. But what does my Guruji tell? He says, I can only be compassionate with them because they are ignorant. I know they are going down the gutters. What can I do? Those who come to me, I just have to save them. I have to protect them. I'll tell them. I will continue to seek. I'll continue to put my effort. I cannot have a desire that nobody is worthy of this knowledge. In fact, my Guruji was saying how in 2006 and 7, he wanted to run away. He couldn't cope up living in this material world because he couldn't take what's going on in this world. Everybody is only self-centered. They're only talking about I, me, myself. Nobody cares about another being. Nobody wants to, be good to another person. We have lost our sattva guna completely. The goodness and love has gone out of the window. So my Guruji couldn't cope up and he ran away. At that time, he said he had a beautiful dialogue for a week with his Gurudev. And his Guru was telling him, who are you to judge that whether somebody is worthy of this knowledge or not? Your job alone is to teach. So go teach. And today it's been 20 plus years. My Guruji is striving hard day in and day out, trying to drill the same profound lesson. But are we capable? Are we even worthy? But my Guruji has not given up. And that's exactly what he tells me. You cannot say that you will want to give up and run away. There is no escapism. We are here to serve the purpose of the God Almighty. And this body is given for that purpose. And who are we to say that, I don't want to do this or I will do this? We are nobody. We just have to be the best tool in the hands of the Divine Lord. We have to be the clay in His hands so that He can mold us the way He wants us to be. Are there anybody like that? My Krishna Guruji will say, I don't even have one student. It is so funny. His way of talking is very sweet. And in that what he's saying, and he'll always tease me, Ande me kana raja. He says when everybody is blind, a person with one eye becomes a king. That is so cute. But that is why we are handicapped today. Why? Because in Kali Yuga, there is nobody like that. Who can be that? We all get angry. We cannot do exactly what my Guruji wants us to do. My Guruji will tell me, don't say anything bad. Don't try to correct them. Don't say this. It's okay. Let it be. You have to become tolerant. I have my tamasi guna, which is anger. Anger sits on my nose. The moment I see something, I'll see red. And I'm not going to tolerate anybody coming and behaving in any manner with my Guruji. That is the least tolerated. Why? Because my Guruji is Lord Shri Krishna himself. I will not tolerate anybody misbehaving or trying to, be talking nonsense dime a dozen over here. You're coming here in the presence of the God, not to beg. Yeah, He'll anyway grant everything to everybody. Doesn't matter. He is a great master. He knows what He has to give. He doesn't care about all that. But when you come here, don't waste your time and His energy, because He doesn't have, his body is not able to withstand all this now. He's been doing satsangs for 21 years, taking people's karma. He needs that, solitude now. That is why he's finishing everything, and now he's going to become incognito and invincible, not available to people. He needs his peace for rest of his life, whatever the time he's there on this planet Earth, which is too limited today. And that is the reason why I get angry, because I love my Guruji the most. I love my Lord Shri Krishna the most, and I cannot take it. So, in the Kali Yuga, as men are not capable of cultivating and cherishing such exalted form of adoration towards the Guru and of identifying the Guru with God. The Guru is God alone. And who are we identifying? Some ordinary human being. Nobody has such kind of Guru Bhakti in today's day and age. It's very difficult. And that is exactly what Devi Amma was saying. She said, my Guruji told me, just be yourself. I'm not telling your mind, I'm telling you. And that is when she said, yes, that hit me. And who is this self? The self is love, goodness, purity. And you have to attain that being that. But how does that come? You have to practice. You have to overcome all these vrittis, tendencies. So sadhana is a very important thing. And your Guruji purifies you. He says, I do the acid wash. Exactly. And he cracked a very interesting joke once. And I will tell you. Once he told me, bring the sandal fragrance, the incense sticks. Don't buy anything else. The dhoop. Because he said, and then he made a cute remark, because only I can take sandals, nobody else. I said, oh my God, that is so true. What does it mean? Sandal in our term also means we wear footwear, chappals. So he says, Khali main sandal kha sakta hu aur koi nahi kha sakta hai. Only I can take the beatings, because everybody is going to, at the end, throw at me only. I felt very sad. That was very powerful. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah. So only I love sandals. Actually, sandal is, remember Gopi Chandan. Chandan is fragrance, sandalwood, fragrant. fragrance. But he made a cute pun out of it by saying, but that is the truth. See, this is how the gurus are. Remember, even in jest, he's speaking the truth. Do you understand the greatness of this guru? Nobody can. We look at him like an ordinary being and have the stupid conversation. This is what we are not supposed to have. This is where you need to use his time wisely. And it's not anybody. Everybody goes through this. We all have to evolve that path. So Guru Bhakti is the highest form of bhakti. And revere him. And where he is there are all the gods. The shrine is there. Why do we worship? Why do we have idols? Because the God exists in them. Every God is there here. They are all living here. They are protecting us. They are taking care of us. We need to give them due respect. Don't ever forget. So, God has assumed the forms of Shaligrama, stones, and of Linga form stones, which are found on the banks and riverbeds of Narmada and the Gandaki rivers. Worship of the Saligram or the Linga absolves man from all his sins. With Guru's Upadesha and worshipping the idol as per his instruction, God will respond even through idols and will fulfill all the desires of the worshipper. With Guru's Upadesha. Upadesha is what? His teachings. He is giving those Upadeshas and we have to follow his Upadesha. With Guru's Upadesha and worshipping the idol as per his instruction. How the Guru has instructed at Krishna Ashram, we exactly follow what our Gurudev has instructed and exactly what is mentioned in the as per the scriptures. It's my Guruji who says, this is the prayers we have to do. We are only following what our Guruji, ordains us to do. God will respond even through the idols and will fulfill all the desires of the worshipper. Regarding the worship of the idol, first, one should seat himself before the shrine, should do sankalpa and then pranayama. Pranayama helps to quieten the mind and centralizes the consciousness for concentration. Water has to be sprinkled over the materials for worship. The idol has to be then installed in the Simhasana. Simhasana means a throne. So we have a shrine. That's where the idols have to be installed. On the left side of the idol should be placed the conch and on the right side should be placed the bell. The flowers and other materials of worship of the previous day are to be removed. The lamp has to be lighted. Then worship has to be done. First offered to Lord Ganapati. Why? Because he is the remover of all the Vignaharta, remover of all the obstacles and Vignas, the evils in our life. Then the Guru has to be remembered. But when you have the Guru, we worship the Guru. We do puja to the Guru himself. Please remember. Then the Guru has to be remembered. The worship to the shrine has to be done. And the shrine itself, because where the idols are, there the God exists. When the Guru is there, please remember, all these gods live there. They physically live there. They are not just there. They are very much living then in reality. Those idols are not idols. If you have the bhakti, you can see the form in that idols. The idols will speak to you. The worship to the shrine has to be done. The tutelar deity has to be visualized in the shrine of one's own heart, and the same visualized form has to be then invoked and enshrined in or to be identified with the idol placed for worship. This is prana pratishta, imparting living reality to or instilling life into the idol. One should visualize that God himself has come and is standing in front of him. Bhavana. And who is here the God? When you have the Guru, he is the God himself over there. So you have to worship the Guru because God himself has come and stood there. This is the truth. Please remember. Bhavana. Bhavana means it's an expression. It's a bhava you feel. It's a way of how you love the Lord, how you express your love. We say Ashtabhav. Ashtabhav, it could be, you could think your God as your best friend. He's my Sakha Bhav. So you can think him as your best friend and you can worship him in that form, in that love of a best friend or your beloved. Oh my God, he's my beloved. He's my Prince Charming. You can think him of like that. Whatever that bhava you want to, you can express in that bhav, okay? With true faith in that bhav is the very essence of the idol worship. Then to be visualized form of God, identified with the idol, then Padya, Argya, Achamana, Madhuparka, Parka, Snana, all these upacharas are to be done. Okay, I don't understand the what the Sanskrit meaning of this. Let me see if the explanation is given. I shall read out. No, it's not there. But you can go and Google this. At least Achmana means like you offer the water once you do the arti and everything, and then you take a teeth and you just sprinkle on your head. It's like a purification. So you can go Google this. You will get the meaning. All these upacharas are to be done. Then chanting the prescribed mantras, Abhisheka has to be performed with milk, panchagavya, etc. The idol has to be then dried with a clean cloth and placed back on the shrine. Okay, this is about, they're talking about the procedure about how do you worship, idol worship, how do you clean them, how do you wash them, and we do Abhisheka. Abhisheka means you do with milk, honey, ghee, what else, yogurt, and one more. What did I miss? Sugar. So you put all of this. It's called Panchamrit, the Abhisheka. Pancha. You offer this 5 of this pure. Okay, I know the Sanskrit word. I'm sorry, I don't know what is it's called in English. But again, you can Google it. So you can offer all of this, and then you have to do this Abhisheka, and that is offered as Panchamrit later as a prasad, where it purifies you. It is a sattva, highest of the purity and sweetness, which represents, signifies sweetness and goodness in a being. Then Vastra, Gandha and Yagno Pavita are to be offered, and thereafter puja has to be done with flowers. So you have to adorn them with nice beautiful garments. Vastra is garments, and Gandha is sandalwood paste. You have to offer all of that. Yagno Pavita are to be offered, and thereafter puja has to be done with flowers, with materials and articles of fragrance, and with akshatas. Akshatas is the sacred. It's a rice. We say you mix it with the turmeric. It's called the sacred rice, which is you offer it like as a blessing, etc. While white flowers are idle for worship, colored flowers are not so sacred for worship. Lotuses, jasmines, and some other such flowers are good. Please remember, there are particular flowers alone you can use for worshipping, not everything. And it's very specific. Example, for Lord Shri Krishna, he loves all the fragrances, all the family of jasmines, right? Like, I don't know the English names. In Tamil, I can say, we say champak, then jasmine, and the family of jasmine, like you have Jadi Malli, Nitya Malli, then you have Night Queen. Night Queen is not offered, but he loves that. Manoranjitam. It's called I think in Hindi or Marathi, it's called Safa. It's small green color flower. Oh my God, it's so fragrant. Lord Shri Krishna loves this. Okay, so we have all the plants in Krishna Ashram because my Guruji loves all of that. And then he likes is more Parijat. Again, that's his favorite flower. There's a very beautiful story associated with that. Probably I'll share that one some other day. But now let us continue the chapter. So here, specific flowers are offered to different gods. To Lord Shri Krishna, and most important, Tulsi is offered to him. You can't offer Tulsi to Shivji or Ganesh. And to Tulsi, for Shivji and Ganesh, there are different flowers which you need to offer. And for Shiva, you can't offer any red color flowers. And red color flowers are only for Kalima and Durgama. So there are specifications. These things have to be followed. And people don't know. They just pick any flower and offer to the god. Please remember, you're doing something wrong. So you need to understand how the puja vidhis has to be done. And that is why, remember in one of the earlier here when we were reading, it is mentioned with the guru's upadesha and how the worshipping of the idols has to be done. The guru has to instruct. That is how you have to do. So please remember, in Krishna Ashram, we are not just doing anything by our will. People have a lot of judgments. People come here and make too many judgments because they don't know and they talk whatever they feel like it. So you have to ask, question it, and understand why certain things have to be done certain way. We follow everything as per the scriptures. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam in detail. In Uddhav Gita you will learn, and also it is mentioned in Narad Bhakti Sutra, and now in Guru Charitra it is being mentioned. And this is only a small version of it. It is the way how the worship has to be done has particularly, specifically instructed by Lord Sri Krishna himself, and we exactly follow that. So, lotuses, jasmines, and some other such flowers are good. Ganapati is not to be worshipped with tulsi, and Devi is not to be worshipped with garika. Maredu, that is bilva, is dear to Shiva. There is a leaf called bilva, and that has very dear to Shiva. You can't use one to the other god, and please remember, you are creating anger, and then instead of blessings, there will be curses that come. Not like they say, no, Lakshmi also has Lakshmi. So if you do something wrong, then Lakshmi is what you're going to invoke. You can't have Lakshmi's grace. So be very careful before doing anything. Don't try to think that, oh, I will do anyway, I'll do however I feel like. It doesn't work like that. And people come with their ego. Even, they don't even have the goodness to understand and learn what it is, why it is. First you understand before you think that, oh, I will do it my way. There is no my way. There is only one way, which is Lord's highway. And that is Lord Sri Krishna's way alone. That is why we say Bhagavad Gita, the way of life. And in Krishna Ashram, we only follow this. Please remember. After the offerings of flowers, dhupa has to be offered. During the puja, appropriate mantras and prayers are to be recited with full devotion. After the puja, Naivedya will have to be offered to the Lord, visualizing that God has accepted the food offered. The devotee's hands are to be cleaned with water. Then tambula, that is betel leaves, have to be offered. You know what? A very beautiful story about betel leaf. Lord Sri Krishna's loved betel leaf. There's a very a whole story. I'm not going to narrate today, but I'm just giving you a gist of it. But someday I will narrate this episode about how gopis make that betel leaf for Lord Sri Krishna. That whole process of making that betel leaf itself is a beautiful leela. It itself is a story, and it takes such a long time to make. You know why? Because Lord Sri Krishna likes a particular kind of a betel leaf, and they will have to go and choose the perfect betel leaf. They will clean it in a certain way, and they will put some of those very beautiful ingredients which goes with that, and then they fold it in certain way, and you know what, and then it's given to Lord Sri Krishna and Radha Rani. But you know what, when Lord eats it, and then Radha Rani takes it from his mouth and she eats, what does it mean? It gives that sweetness. We think it's some way, oh my God, oh, this is more romantic. We're talking something different. How can God do like that? But there is a beautiful truth, the Adhyatmic truth, which we don't understand. And I will someday share this beautiful story about this whole process of betel. How do the gopis make this betel leaf and offer it to Lord Sri Krishna? The puja will have to be conducted with arti, offering mantra pushpa at the idol's feet, followed by pradikshana and sashtanga namaskara. Pradikshana means circumambulating, and sashtanga namaskara. Sashtanga namaskara is only done by men, where you completely lie down flat on the ground and then do the namaskaram. Namaskaram means pray to him. And women don't bend completely on the floor. They just put their knees and then they bow down unto the lotus feet of the Guru and then to the God. You have to bow down to both. It is very important. The Namaskaram Vidhi is also explained in detail. See, you know what? How do you offer Namaskaram? Namaskaram means how do you bow down is explained. That itself is a very important Vidhi. We think however we bow down it is fine, and people even have an ego to bow down and touch people's feet, the Divine Master's feet. They think that is below their dignity. I don't know what kind of egoistic people live on this planet Earth. The Namaskaram Vidhi is also explained in detail how to offer Namaskaras to the idol, to the Guru, to the elders, to parents, etc. The Puja Tirtha has to be sprinkled on one's forehead, to be smeared on the eyes. So once the holy Tirtha is given, first you take a few sips in your mouth, then you touch it to your eyes and then sprinkle on your head. That is how it is accepted. And again, there is a detailed description or also an explanation why you are supposed to do like that. See, we have never bothered to question our elders. We just blindly followed. Why do you do something like that is a question we need to ask. Someday in life, I will give answers to all of this and give an explanation, because I'm sure the future generation will question me, why are you doing this? I know that's all need to be done, that is all I know, but in detail I will have to explain why are we doing this, what does it signify, why it is important. This is what has to be taught. But here it is an instruction of Dattatreya himself. Please remember, it is not taught by any ordinary human being. Every scripture, the devotional service, Lord Shri Krishna himself teaches all this. He is the knowledge incarnate. Remember. So don't try to question and don't bring your mind. Learn this if you want to be his devotee. The Puja Tirtha has to be sprinkled on one's forehead, to be smeared on the eyes, and should be sipped by the mouth. The Puja Tirtha is most purifying. It purifies the body, mind, and the spirit. I hope you understand. And especially if this Puja Tirtha is the Tirtha which is washed the lotus feet of your Gurudev, then it is even more great, as it is priceless. You know why? Because then it not only purifies, it also makes you a desireless being. It removes all the desires, it clears off all the vrittis, whatever that you have within yourself, and makes you a pure being, a true devotee of your Gurudev, and brings in the qualities of this masters in you. That is the greatness of drinking the holy tirtha, the water washed off your Guru's feet. With that, we already at the end of the hour. I'll stop here. We'll continue from where we stopped tomorrow at our usual timing, which is 8:30 a.m. in the morning. Thank you for joining Shri Guru Charitra Satsang. I'm wishing you all a very happy Tuesday. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha. Om Shri Gurudev Datta. Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Digambara Digambara Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Gurunath Natha Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha. Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum.